The greatest world photographer Robert Capa said, "If your photographs are not good enough, you're not close enough." And the words seem to be most likely stated for documentaries and portraits, but as a landscape photographer who regards strong perspective as a top priority, I strongly think that Robert Capa saying had better be applied to landscapes as well. Some people think that a Hasselblad SWC is just a compact Hasselblad, which is just specialized for taking wide scenery. However, I think it is not the best approach. The main reason a SWC is great is not only from its wide angle, but rather from its super perspective and from the super emotion emitted from the perspective. My Easy Hasselblad Chapter 1 and 2 could be quite helpful for those who want to know how to take Hasselblad landscapes with strong perspective. Check them out. Okay, let's take a look at the overall appearance. This is the Hasselblad SWC-M with CF 38mm Biogon lens and a bubble level on body. And this version was manufactured in between 1982 and 1985. The shutter speed is from bulb to 500 and the aperture is from f4.5 to f22. The medium format Biogon 38mm is really great in some aspects, especially the great sharpness is really admiring when looking the original film scan results. That's the best of the best. And the medium format 38mm is actually super wide and it corresponds to 21mm of 35mm cameras. Our SWC-M has a separate viewfinder visual system, which is a kind of a blessing for those who love taking long exposure landscapes because they don't need to put the filters on and take them off whenever they need to change frame compositions and move to another shooting spots. With the anti-filters attached, what you need to do is just making a good composition, considering a best depth regarding perspective, and determining the best aperture and shutter speed. That's it. Saving time and effort for attaching filters and take them off is super profitable. And one more, when you take a star trail shot in the dark night, unlike the Hasselblad 503 series or other through-the-lens system cameras, you can check the stars moving trails real-time through the separate viewfinder, and thus can determine when you close the shutter exactly. Okay, let's have a look at the built-in CF Biogon lens this time. I already told you that the Biogon lens sharpness is super, right? And this time I'll let you know why the SWC-M is great for taking pictures with emotional perspective. Okay, look at the depth scale. If you don't even understand the concept of depth, you'd better check my former Easy Hasselblad 1 and 2. Okay, set the aperture at f11 and match the infinity at f11 and check the other side. It's 1.2 meter. And set the aperture at f16 and infinity f16. Then it's 0.9 meter. Wow. And set the aperture at f22 this time and the infinity too. Oh my gosh, it's 0.7 meter. You know why it's exciting? That means a perfect focus. A perfect focus for both the subject just right in front of your camera and the infinity landscape is available in this situation. I know that this kind of an extreme perspective could be looking like a kind of a rare and weird composition for some people who don't care for the perspective at all. But anyways, one thing important is that that's possible with a SWC-M, and I think the perspective must be one of top priorities for landscape pictures, no matter what they say. From now, let me talk about SWC-M portraits. For some rare occasions to me to take close distance portraits with this, I first estimate the distance between the lens and the model and put the aperture roughly at f8 or so. And when you snapshot the model in the distance, what you need to take care of is only the model's position in the frame, Nothing special else. And in the very rare case when taking long exposure portraits, the model shouldn't move for required seconds. In this picture, maybe 4 to 5 seconds. And this one, maybe it was 25 or 30 seconds. She was quite stable. And last but not least, the time exposure lock is very useful. When taking long exposures, of which the shutter speed is over at least 8 seconds, you don't need to use the cable shutter release at all. It's a very convenient function. But if the shutter speed is around 1 or 2 seconds or 3 or 4 seconds, you'd better use the cable release for stable results. That's it today, and I'll see you soon with some other film photography contents. Thank you very much.